Imagine waking up at 3 a.m., stepping outside, and watching the moon transform into a glowing red ember right before your eyes. In 48 hours, that's exactly what millions of people across the Americas, Australia, and Asia will experience. But here's the thing, whether you see this spectacle or miss it entirely comes down to one simple factor: your location on Earth. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to maximize your blood moon experience on March 3rd, 2026. Let's talk about what you're actually going to see, because the experience is way more dynamic than most people realize. This isn't just the moon turns red and sits there for an hour. It's a constantly evolving show with distinct phases. The eclipse starts subtly at 8:44 UTC when the moon enters Earth's penumbral shadow. At first, you'll barely notice anything. Maybe the moon looks slightly dimmed, like someone turned down the brightness a bit. Then at 9:50 UTC, things get visually dramatic when Earth's darker umbral shadow touches the moon's edge. You'll see a dark bite being taken out of the moon, slowly growing larger as more of the lunar surface disappears into shadow. This partial phase lasts about 74 minutes, giving you plenty of time to set up equipment and watch the progression. The shadow doesn't creep uniformly, it moves at a constant speed. But the visual effect is this mesmerizing, slow-motion consumption. Then at 11:04 UTC, something magical happens. The last bright sliver of the moon disappears, and totality begins. Within seconds, the moon transforms from bright silver to deep orange red, an absolutely stunning color shift. But here's what catches first-time observers off guard. The moon doesn't just turn one uniform shade of red. You'll see gradients, with darker reds near one edge transitioning to lighter oranges and even pale yellows on the opposite side. These color variations happen because the moon's traveling through Earth's shadow at an angle, not straight through the center. The part of the moon deeper in the shadow appears darker, whilst the edge closer to Earth's atmosphere shows brighter tones. During the 58 minutes of totality, watch how these colors shift and change as the moon continues its path. Maximum eclipse at 11:33 UTC is when the moon's deepest in Earth's shadow, giving you the richest, darkest red. This is the absolute prime moment for photography, when the color contrast is most dramatic. Then, after 12:03 UTC, you'll watch the whole process reverse. The moon gradually emerges from shadow, returning to its normal brightness. Now, here's something most guides don't tell you about what happens to the sky around the moon during totality. When the moon dims dramatically, it's like turning off a massive floodlight in your backyard. Stars that were completely invisible suddenly pop into view, transforming your perception of the entire night sky. You'll see constellations you couldn't spot minutes earlier, and the Milky Way might become visible if you're in a dark location. This is genuinely one of the most magical aspects of total lunar eclipses that photos simply cannot capture. You have to experience it in person to understand how dramatically the entire sky changes when the moon goes dark. All right? Let's get brutally honest about who's going to have the best experience and who's getting shortchanged. Australia, you've won the astronomical lottery with this one, and I'm not exaggerating even slightly. The entire eclipse unfolds during comfortable evening hours on March 3rd, with totality from 10:04 to 11:02 p.m. in Sydney. You can watch from your backyard with a beer in hand. No alarm clocks, no freezing temperatures, perfect conditions. The moon will be high in the sky throughout, meaning excellent visibility with no obstructions. Early autumn weather in Australia is typically stable with clear skies, especially inland and in desert regions. Brisbane sees it slightly earlier from 9:04 to 10:02 p.m, whilst Perth gets 7:04 to 8:02 p.m, still brilliant timing. If you're an Aussie and you miss this, there's absolutely no excuse. You've got the best conditions on the entire planet. New Zealand, you're almost as lucky, seeing the whole thing just after midnight from 12:04 to 1:02 a.m. on March 4th. East Asia's in a fantastic position too, with evening viewing throughout Japan, Korea, and China. Tokyo and Seoul watch from 8:04 to 9:02 p.m., perfect for evening observers with no sleep disruption. Now, United States and Canada. This is where the experience splits dramatically based on your longitude. West Coast, you're getting world-class viewing conditions, but you're paying for it with absolutely brutal timing. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, you're all watching from 3:04 to 4:02 a.m. Yes, it's the middle of the night. Yes, it'll be cold, but the moon will be high in a perfectly dark sky. Here's my advice for West Coasters. Treat this like New Year's Eve. Plan it as an event. Don't try to casually wake up. Set up the night before. Maybe stay up late rather than trying to wake early. Make it a proper viewing party. Grab thermoses of hot coffee or cocoa, bundle up in proper winter gear, and commit to the experience fully. The payoff is absolutely worth it. Crystal clear visibility with the moon positioned perfectly for observation. Hawaii is even earlier at 1:04 to 2:02 a.m., whilst Alaska sees 2:04 to 3:02 a.m., both still manageable with planning. Mountain states get 4:04 to 5:02 a.m., which is slightly more humane, but still requires commitment. Central Time Zone sees 5:04 to 6:02 a.m., and this is where dawn twilight starts becoming a factor. But East Coast, here's where I need to be completely honest with you, you're getting a raw deal. New York, Boston, Toronto, Washington, Miami totality starts around 6:04 a.m. just as the moon's setting. You'll see that initial dramatic color change as the moon turns red, which is genuinely spectacular. But depending on your exact location, you'll get between 5 and 15 minutes of totality before the moon drops below the horizon. Southern cities like Miami get slightly more time, whilst northern locations like Toronto get even less. Here's how to maximize this limited window. Find the highest elevation you can with a completely unobstructed western horizon. Every meter of elevation gives you a few extra seconds, and clear sight lines mean you'll see it until the last possible moment. Beaches, hilltops, tall buildings with western views. These are your best bets for squeezing out maximum viewing time. And now for the truly devastating news. UK, Europe, Africa, Middle East, you're completely shut out. The eclipse peaks at 11:33 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which is late morning to midday across all these regions. The moon won't even be in your sky during any phase of the eclipse, not even the subtle penumbral beginning. But don't despair, because the live stream experience has evolved dramatically over the past few years. Timeanddate.com will broadcast starting at 9:30 UTC with multiple high-quality feeds from around the globe. You'll get professional commentary, multiple camera angles, and the ability to see the eclipse from several locations simultaneously. Honestly, watching online has advantages: no weather worries, instant replays, expert explanations, and you can stay warm indoors. Make it a social event, invite friends over for breakfast, and watch together with the chat community. Now let's talk about photography, because capturing this event requires a different approach than normal moon photography. During the partial phases, the moon is still quite bright, so you'll use relatively fast shutter speeds. Start with something like 1/250th of a second at ISO 400, then adjust based on what you're seeing. As the eclipse progresses and more of the moon enters shadow, you'll need to slow down your shutter speed. During totality, the moon becomes dramatically darker, requiring exposures of 1 to 4 seconds, depending on the eclipse's brightness. This is where a sturdy tripod becomes absolutely essential. You cannot handhold these longer exposures. Use your camera's timer or remote shutter release to avoid any vibration from pressing the button. Here's a pro tip: bracket your exposures heavily during totality, taking shots at different settings. The moon's brightness can vary significantly across its surface, and bracketing ensures you'll capture the full dynamic range. For smartphone users, modern phones can actually capture this surprisingly well if you know how to use them properly. Use a tripod adapter for your phone, enable night mode or manual controls if available, and experiment with exposure settings. Many phones now have built-in moon modes that work reasonably well, though manual control gives better results. One often overlooked photographic opportunity: capture the eclipse alongside a foreground object for scale and interest. Silhouettes of trees, buildings, or landscape features add context and make the image more compelling than just the moon alone. Time-lapse photography is brilliant for eclipses, showing the entire progression in a condensed format. Set your camera to take a photo every minute or two throughout the eclipse, then compile them into a sequence. Weather is the ultimate wildcard that can make or break your eclipse experience. So let's talk strategy. Australia has favorable statistical odds. Early March typically brings stable high-pressure systems with clear skies. Inland and desert regions like the outback have even better odds, with coastal areas slightly more prone to moisture. North America's west coast faces marine layer fog as a potential issue, especially along the immediate coastline. If you're in California, Oregon, or Washington, consider driving inland to escape potential coastal fog. Desert southwest regions like Arizona and New Mexico typically have excellent clear sky percentages in early March. The Pacific Northwest's weather is notoriously unpredictable, so have backup plans for driving to clearer areas. East Coast weather in early March is genuinely a coin flip, with roughly 50-50 odds for clear versus cloudy skies. Start checking weather forecasts obsessively 3 days before, using multiple sources to identify clear sky pockets. Cloud forecast maps can show you where clear skies might be within a reasonable driving distance. Here's a question worth pondering. Is it better to watch in person with your naked eye or through binoculars and telescopes? My recommendation is to do both, spending time with each viewing method to appreciate different aspects. Start with naked eye viewing to take in the full spectacle and see how the eclipse affects the entire sky. Then switch to binoculars to see surface details, color gradients, and the subtle variations across the lunar disk. A telescope reveals even more crater details, the interplay of shadows, and the texture of the moon's surface during totality. But don't spend the entire eclipse glued to optical instruments. Make sure you experience it with your naked eyes too. There's something profound about seeing this cosmic event directly, without glass or electronics mediating the experience. Now, let's address something important: the social and communal aspect of eclipse watching. These events are genuinely better when shared, whether you're watching in person or online. If you're observing in person, consider joining a local astronomy club event or organizing a viewing party with friends. Having other people around adds energy and excitement, plus you can share equipment and observations. For livestream viewers, engage with the chat, share your thoughts, and connect with the global community watching together. This transforms it from a solitary viewing experience into a shared global moment. Here's something fascinating about the timing: this eclipse falls during eclipse season, a roughly 35-day window. Just 2 weeks earlier, on February 17th, there was an annular solar eclipse visible from Antarctica. These paired events happen because of the moon's orbital geometry aligning favorably with the Sun-Earth plane. Later in 2026, another eclipse season brings a total solar eclipse on August 12th and a partial lunar eclipse on August 28th. So 2026 is actually packed with eclipse opportunities if you're willing to travel or watch online. But this March 3rd event remains the most accessible, requiring no special travel for millions of people. Let's talk about why this eclipse matters beyond the immediate spectacle and photo opportunities. This is the last total lunar eclipse until December 31st, 2028, almost 3 years away. And that New Year's Eve eclipse, you'll probably be drunk or tired, not in optimal observation mode. The next one after that isn't until June 2029, meaning you could wait 3.5 years if you miss this. 3 years is a long time. Trends change. Life circumstances shift. There's no guarantee you'll be positioned to watch in 2029. Only 2.17% of humanity will see this entire eclipse from start to finish, making it genuinely exclusive. Here's something that adds deeper perspective. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth at 3.8 centimeters per year. In roughly 600 to 800 million years, it'll be too far away for total lunar eclipses to occur. We're living in a brief window of Earth's history where these events are possible. Every total eclipse you witness is literally limited time-only cosmic phenomena that won't last forever. So when you're watching on March 3rd, take a moment to appreciate this temporary alignment. All right, here's your complete pre-eclipse checklist to ensure you're fully prepared. 1 week before, verify your exact local times using timeanddate.com or astronomy apps. 5 days before, scout potential viewing locations during daylight, checking sightlines and accessibility. 3 days before, start monitoring weather forecasts obsessively, identifying backup locations if needed. 2 days before, charge all camera batteries, clean optics, test equipment to ensure everything's working. 1 day before, pack your viewing kit: camera, tripod, binoculars, warm clothes, snacks, drinks, red flashlight for preserving night vision. Evening before, set multiple alarms if you need to wake up. Lay out all your gear so you can grab it quickly. Eclipse day. Arrive at your viewing location early to set up calmly, test your equipment, and settle in. For those watching via livestream, bookmark your chosen streams. Set your alarm for 9:30 GMT. Prepare your viewing setup. Here's a challenge to enhance your experience. Try observing without checking your phone constantly. Be present in the moment. Watch the colors shift. Feel the temperature change. Hear the night sounds around you. Yes, take photos, but don't experience the entire eclipse through a camera screen. Some of my best eclipse memories are moments I just watched. Without documenting, just experiencing. Share your photos afterward using Blood Moon 2026. I want to see perspectives from around the globe. The collective visual record from millions of observers creates a beautiful mosaic of this shared experience. Before we wrap up, let me address one more thing. What if clouds ruin your view? First, don't let it devastate you. There will be other eclipses, and the live streams provide excellent backup. Second, sometimes partially cloudy skies create dramatic effects as clouds drift past the eclipsed moon. Third, even if you can't see the eclipse directly, notice how the ambient light level changes during totality. The world gets subtly darker, shadows shift. It's a detectable change even through clouds. And finally, if weather completely ruins your plans, join the global livestream community and participate that way. It's not the same as being there in person, but it's infinitely better than missing it entirely. Right, final thoughts as we approach this celestial event. March 3rd, 2026. The moon bleeds for 58 minutes while millions watch from around the world. Some will see it perfectly from dark skies, some will catch glimpses through clouds, some will watch online. But everyone who participates becomes part of a shared global experience, connected by looking at the same sky. Set your alarms, prepare your equipment, check your weather, and get ready for the show. If you're in Australia, enjoy those perfect evening conditions and appreciate your astronomical good fortune. If you're in North America's West, embrace the 3 a.m. adventure because the view will be worth every lost minute of sleep. East Coast observers, maximize those few minutes before moonset. They'll be spectacular, even if brief. And UK/Europe viewers, I'll see you in the livestream chat with coffee, where we'll watch together from afar. Smash like if you're ready. Subscribe for the reaction video. Drop your location and viewing plans in the comments. Let's make Blood Moon 2026 trend worldwide and create a global conversation around this cosmic event. Thanks for watching. Clear skies to all observers, and I'll see you on March 3rd for the last blood moon until 2029. Don't miss it, because 3 years is a very long time to regret sleeping in.